Boopity boop, learning time! Hey all, so here's another video where I read portions of my book because I think it's interesting. Also, I want to entice you to order it so you can read the whole thing and learn lots. Last time we talked about pronouns. Two of the most common pronouns used to refer to people are she and he. And our society typically associates he with men and she with women. These associations, however, are purely a social and not grammatical one. Link. And this time we're going to talk about androsexuality, gynosexuality, masexuality, and womosexuality. First, let's talk about masexuality. Note that different people pronounce this word different ways. Some say ma, as in masculine or man for masexuality. Others say ma, and others even say may. I'm gonna go with ma. This orientation is also sometimes known as androsexuality, but I personally prefer the former. Not a big deal, just an individual preference, which we'll get into in a bit. So what are these terms? What do these words mean? These orientations, masexuality and or androsexuality, are attractions to men and or masculinity. These terms were originally created for non-binary people, genderqueer people, and just not cis people who felt that existing monosexual labels, like gay and straight, implied inaccurate information about their own gender. For example, sometimes non-binary people attracted to men don't like identifying with the word gay because they feel the label gay implies to some that they are a man attracted to other men, a gay man. But that's not the case, they're non-binary. This is a great example of how many sexual orientations not only communicate information about a person's attractions, but also sometimes imply things about their own gender. Like how the word lesbian implies the person IDing that way is a woman. So again, ma/androsexuality are attractions to men and or masculinity, and are great options for non-binary people who don't want to imply anything about their gender. Important things to note about these labels. Although this may not be the intention of the person identifying with this word, many feel the prefix andro has strong associations with genitalia, and sometimes this word androsexuality is used as an exclusive attraction to penises, aka I'm attracted to people who have a penis. Thus, people have critiqued the word as being exclusionary of trans men. Ma, as in masexuality, came about in an attempt to make a more inclusive alternative. Now, if you've never met anyone who identifies this way, today is your lucky day. Here is Josh to read the blurb he wrote for my book about why androsexuality is his label of choice.
Hi, I'm Josh, I'm 20 years old and a writer. I'm also androsexual. This does not mean I have a thing for C-3PO or NDR-113 from the Positronic Men, though Robin Williams' joyful spirit is enough to make anyone weak at the knees and warm inside. It means that I am attracted to men. If I still identified as male, I would be a flaming homosexual, but it's far from the most accurate label I could find. If you're agender or gender fluid or anything outside of the gender binary, then homosexual doesn't quite fit. It can even be restrictive, like an ill-fitting jumper or a uniform that's several sizes too small. Besides, I said I was attracted to men, and while that's not a lie, it's not entirely true either. It's masculinity that I find so alluring, and that's something that can belong to anyone, male, female, non-binary, trans, regardless of genitalia. By choosing androsexual over homosexual or gay, I feel as though I am acknowledging the complexities of gender and sexuality and how much more nuanced it is than I once believed. That's a fact that I now endeavour not to forget.
Now, womosexuality and gynosexuality are foils to the orientations andro and ma, meaning they involve attractions to women and or femininity. Important things to note about these labels. Although this may not be the intention of the person identifying with this word, many feel the prefix gyn has strong associations with genitalia. I probably sound like a broken record, but it's because this word has the same issues as its counter. Also, gynosexual is sometimes used as an exclusive attraction to vaginas, aka I dig anyone as long as they have a vagina. And I'm sure you saw it coming, but because of this, many people critique the term of being exclusionary of trans women. Now that we've learned about these prefixes, andro and ma, woma and gyn, notice that when I was talking about them, I was only applying them to sexual orientations. as in masexual and womasexual. However, these prefixes can also most definitely be applied to romantic orientations, as in womaromantic and ma-romantic. Personal fun fact, sometimes I feel kind of womaromantic, because I am very romantically attracted to women, much more than men. I typically romantically fall for a woman way more often than I ever do a guy. But still, womaromantic doesn't feel like a perfect fit for me, because although few and far between, there have been exceptions. I have romantically fallen for guys. And I do like masculinity. I like what I think is masculine expression. Thus, homoflexible is a term I have a better connection with, as in I am romantically homoflexible. Yep, that's this video. Buy my book. Or don't. It comes out for free in May. But you should buy it because the hard copy version is so much better. The illustrations go with the text way more like seamlessly, and everything is just integrated better, and you can touch it and you can snuggle with it. Buy my book and snuggle with my book. Buy my book and snuggle with my book. Hashtag snugglebook. And following people, I've just decided that tweet out hashtag snugglebook. Yep, not everyone, but lots of you. Okay, bye. Follow me on Twitter.
I've been asked on behalf of Ashley to have you subscribe and like. Pretty please for me. Like for me, please like for me. Pretty please for me, I'll give you fake money.